Hey guys, happy Wednesday. It is Courtney King with King Realty. Today I'm kind of on a buyer track. So last week we talked a little bit about the 3 things that you need in order to get pre-approved for mortgage and start the home buying process. So we're still on the buyer's track, and today we're going to talk about the amount of money that you need in order to buy a home. So drilling down and getting into some of the additional details that you should know before you buy a home. So I have a little guide here. This is a closing disclosure. Some people call it a HUD, some people call it a settlement statement. Basically, when you buy a home, on the front end, your lender will give you an estimate of different costs associated with your home purchase. And then at the very end, once everybody gets their figures in, they'll issue a closing disclosure, and it basically breaks down your monthly payment, any escrowed items like your taxes and your insurance, and all of the fees associated with buying a home. So for this example today, I'm going to be using, it's actually a client of mine where we closed, when did we close? Maybe last month, September. And she was buying a house in Arlington for $215,000. So that's $215,000. Now she was putting 20% down, and it was a conventional loan. So I'm going to highlight if you put a lower down payment down on a home, or if you do an FHA loan at 3.5%, just to give you kind of the 2 different scenarios. So in her case, she was putting 20% down on a $250,000 house. At the end of the day, she had to bring $45,277.42 to the table. Now, don't freak out. This is if somebody wants to put 20% down on a property. So their down payment is pretty hefty. So let's talk about what that $45,000 entails of, okay? So you've got her down payment, but then there's additional charges that total $11,183.04. So that's really her closing cost, is the $11,000, okay? We'll break the closing costs down. So she's got loan origination fees, which are charged by the lender. The agent has nothing to do with that, but when you're shopping around for a mortgage company, you'll want to compare these rates, these origination fees and different things that they charge. So her origination fees were about $1,500, and then she has some other expenses. So she had to pay for an appraisal up front. Mortgage company usually takes a credit card and just charges the card to order the appraisal. So that appraisal was $450, which is typical. And then there was a credit report charge and a flood certification. So that was an additional $520 roughly. Then there's title fees. So there's lender policy, escrow fees, recording fees. Now, depending on what you negotiate with the seller, you may be able to get them to give you money for the title policy, which is like customary. Everything's negotiable, but oftentimes if the seller chooses the title company, then they'll pay for the title policy. And so that brings her to a grand total with all of those charges of $3,715.32. So that's really the loan part of the origination fees, okay? Loan and title. So we're at $3,700. Then there's additional costs to her. So there was an $80 recording fee, and then this is a big thing. There are prepaids. So basically, your lender is going to establish an escrow account. More often than not, do people escrow their their insurance premiums, as well as their taxes, so that it's all wrapped into their monthly payment. So she had her homeowner's insurance, 12 months set aside in escrow. There was some prepaid interest based on the date that she closed on the property. And then property taxes are often escrowed. So it looks like they escrowed quite a bit for property taxes because we closed towards the end of the year. So the total of the other costs, so the prepaids, any recording fees, homeowners insurance, property taxes, that totaled $7,467. So you add all of that very quickly and we're at the total of $11,183.04. That's just her closing costs plus her down payment gets us to the $45,000. Now, if we were to make this a FHA loan, roughly speaking, the 3.5% down would be about $7,525. So that is what you absolutely have to bring to the table. And then plus the closing costs of $11,183.04, that would put the total monies that the buyer needs to bring to the table to $18,708.04. Okay, I went through that kind of quickly, but basically it's your down payment, any origination fees and lender costs, and then you have title fees, and then last but not least your taxes and insurance. I'm more than happy to give you an estimate. Also have lenders that I work with that can give you an estimate. It's always good to shop around to make sure you get the best rates. Your interest rate may tweak these numbers just a little bit, and also the actual loan product that you get, so the type of loan that you secure when you buy a house may vary these numbers a little bit. So that's what we're looking at. Now, the one thing that this does not factor in is if you negotiate any concessions from the seller. So sometimes that's a lot of money for people to come up with. And so what you can do is you can ask a seller to help contribute to your closing costs. And that's something for you and your agent to really discuss beforehand on, do you have enough money to make this deal happen? And if not, then how much do we need to ask a seller? Now, I've got to say this because the market that we're in right now is definitely a seller's market. So buyers, if you're going to ask a seller to help contribute to your closing costs, that's going to affect how competitive your offer is. And you may have to get a little bit creative when you make that offer in order to make it a win-win. I hope this was helpful. I've got some stuff brewing for sellers for the next 2 weeks, actually, investors and sellers. So please share if there's any questions that you have about this stuff, comment below. Try to get to all the comments very quickly. And then if there's any additional topics that you want me to cover, by all means, drop them in the comments or private message me. Visit our website, kingrealtytx.com. And keep following us on social media. I hope you have a great rest of the week. See you later.